When I got invited to Lexington, Kentucky, it was to speak at a conference. But while I was there, they offered me a day around town exploring. So are you thinking what I'm thinking? Time to pull out that G7X. I had a show to capture content for. Hi friends, we're rewatching my very first travel show, a show I self-produced from start to finish 10 years ago. I had a distribution deal, put it on Amazon Prime Video, but I never put it on YouTube. So that's what we're doing now. Welcome to the rewatch. So somehow I made it on the radar for a very prestigious travel conference. The email showed up in my inbox and they wanted to know if I could join a panel on media literacy and how travel destinations should pitch the media. So that's easy. I accepted and I was on my way to Lexington, Kentucky. Now, I'm a SoCal kid, Southern California. Lexington was never really on my radar, but I'm now in the travel industry. So literally every place is on my list to go. My mindset was, let's roll up our sleeves and let's get to go into Lexington. Now, Lexington is renowned as the horse capital of the world. There are literally hundreds of horse farms, the Kentucky Horse Park, and the historic Keeneland Racecourse. It's also a central hub for bourbon tourism. They have the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and of course, UK, the University of Kentucky. And this is important because Kentucky doesn't have any professional sports teams. So you bet your bottom dollar, everything from football to basketball and all the sports in between is a big deal for UK fans. Heck, for the entire state. So with Lexington being the host of this tourism conference, they also offered me a day to explore the region. The email was literally, hey, I wanted to check out to see if you wanted to do some sightseeing when you were here. So yes, I do. They gave me some options for some breweries or exploring the sports teams. And I'm not really a drinker. I know that you guys are drinkers, so that's why I do cover alcohol when I do, but I'm not. So between the two, I picked the sports. Remember, my background was in sport. Now, how would I make exploring UK sports not just a fun day for me, but how could I make it an episode? I got my camera and I just winged it. In the end, I did end up at a vineyard, a brewery, and a horse farm. And with that, I was able to make 4 episodes in Lexington: wine, horses, basketball, and bourbon. Let's watch the Lexington, Kentucky episodes of Beyond the Usual.
Commonwealth Stadium, home to the Kentucky Wildcats football team. The summer of 2015, the stadium was under construction, and I was invited for an exclusive behind-the-scenes hard hat tour of the new spot.
That's exactly how it is.
Just one of the perks of being open to all things beyond the usual. Kentucky is famous for its fast horses and bourbon whiskeys, but it's a little known fact that in the heart of this beautiful bluegrass, there's a rich history of wine.
Confession time. I'm not that into wine. I know, don't kill me. But when I was invited to First Vineyards in Lexington, Kentucky, I had to accept the offer. Records show that this place was the very first commercial winery in the whole country.
The winery was first established in 1799, and now thanks to Thomas Beall, who re-established the property in 2007.
They actually named it First Vineyard because it was the first vineyard.
Just about 20 miles south of Lexington, the restored vineyard sits on 3 acres. Today, they produce over 7 different wines, depending on the crop.
Ooh, it smells good.
So much for the person who says she doesn't drink.
It's sweeter.
Before you even said it, it tastes like that. Oh, I didn't hear it.
There's just so many unusual flavors,
It tastes like candy.
including cherry, chocolate, and even apple pie. All right, so that was a short and sweet one. I do want to talk about Commonwealth Stadium. When they offered me that, I already told you kind of how important sports was to UK. And that's why I was like, I think I'll film this and include it as a cold open, but I didn't give you much detail to the viewer as why I included it. I was just in shock of how, like, this was a college football team, and the stadium felt like a pro team. And then when you understand, first of all, it's SEC football. UK is not even really known for their football. They're basically a basketball school, right? And I do have an episode when we are touring the basketball facilities within the series, but this was just how important sports was to the entire state, to the region, because there's no pro teams there. Let's move on to the next episode.
Did you know that every single thoroughbred worth its salt comes from Lexington, Kentucky? I was in town, and so I just had to see one of these horse farms for myself.
And what we do, we jog the horses in here.
Lexington native Sean Washington took us to Katie Rich Farms. And right off the bat, this place was a sight to behold. Perfect for selfies. There's acres and acres of bluegrass, and all of it is just one farm.
Sean, how many acres are here?
356.
All owned by just one person.
Larry Doyle's from New York. Big hedge fund guy. Probably comes to town 45 days out of the year. Just having a good time in the horse business.
It takes big bucks to get into the horse breeding business. It's a billion-dollar industry.
That baby,
And our guide Sean
next September, is going to bring 2.5 to 4 or 5 million in Kingland.
really knows his stuff.
Yep. It's by a horse called a Fern, who won the Triple Crown in 1978. His mom's grandfather was Northern Dancer.
Like how it's all about a horse's bloodline when it comes to breeding.
For the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont, her grandfather's the only one finished second in all 3 races. She's by Giants Causeway. He paid $250,000 for her last November.
Oh, just $200,000. No big deal.
Mares cost anywhere from $200,000 to $500,000.
All these horses gonna be sold in September at Kingland. And all of them are 6 figures, a lot of them are 7 figures.
I think he said there's like 92 horses.
And it's considered a smaller farm.
Oh my goodness.
Don't tell Sophia.
Don't tell Sophia.
We learned the difference between mares, fillies, yearlings, colts, studs, and stallions. Whew! There's just so much. There were 40 mares, which means there'll be 40 babies come September. The mares will stay pregnant all year, every year.
See what I mean?
And maybe that's why they're a little feisty.
Did you say you wanted to get free?
The farmers do name the horses, but never get too attached.
He bought her at the Kingland sale. He paid $1,000 for her. She won $1.2 million on the racetrack.
Because each horse has a purpose, and most of the time it's to be sold.
All right, I would say that this horse farm episode is the hero episode of the series. And again, if I package the entire series into one episode, this would definitely be the highlight. It's such an important part, horse farms and thoroughbreds, to the Lexington economy and culture. It's like its whole personality. When people think Lexington, Kentucky, they think of thoroughbred horses. Like I said in the piece, every single thoroughbred horse that is worth its salt, the ones people want to race, they get them from Lexington and from these farms. And also, I remember this very vividly, a big culture shock for me, or no, not even a culture shock, a reality check was how many acres each horse farm had, how many horses that were worth $200,000 to $500,000 each, even those little baby ones that we saw that were on each farm, and then how many horse farms are in the area. My flabbers were gusted, my mind exploded to understand and know that there were that many wealthy people who had a piece of that business. And many of these are generational farms, so they've owned them, the families had owned them for years and years. Then some of them are billionaires who want a piece of it. That entire industry, when you're on the ground there and seeing it up close and personal, is literally mind-blowing. But let's move on to the next episode in this series.
The University of Kentucky basketball team has the most wins in NCAA Division I history. They won the national championship in 2012, made it back to the Final Four in 2014 and 2015. Although the loss to Wisconsin in 2015 left the students, the community, devastated. They kind of had a tantrum.
From what I can tell, guys, as soon as I got off the plane, they are still heartbroken. They're not quite over it.
And I went to Lexington nearly 6 months later. But anyway, guys, I've been given exclusive access, a private tour of UK's basketball facilities. And we start at Memorial Coliseum, nicknamed the house that Rupp built. Adolph Rupp coached the team for over 40 years.
This is where the guys played till 74, and then they moved into Rupp in 75. And from there, the women have kind of taken over this place.
On our way to the practice facilities, the halls, offices, every nook and cranny was lined with awards, medals, and championship trophies. Talk about state of the art. The Joe Craft Center was built in 2007 just for practice. Practice? We're talking about practice.
Oh, guys, this is it. Okay, so we're inside of Rupp Arena.
It's the biggest arena in the country built just for basketball. Everything has meaning. Everything has history. Even the old speaker system named Big Bertha.
This was installed in 1976, and it's part of the original Rupp Arena.
Rupp seats about 23,000 screaming fans on a game day. It's bananas. It's even a big deal when it's not a game day.
You guys heard of Big Blue Madness? It's a practice that they have at the beginning of the season, and it sells out
every year.
When celebrities come, like Ashley Judd, what's the process? She tries to blend in with the crowd.
So the students stand in this section for the entire thing, and Ashley is known just to kind of come in and just blend into the middle of them, into the middle of the student section. Of course, nobody stops her.
And then recently you had the rap star Drake to be a part of the
season. LeBron's here for games. It's almost like an NBA experience.
Joe's he has his key.
Joe showed us everything he had access to. Nothing was off limits.
This is the floor from the national championship game in 2012. I'm almost afraid to walk on it.
Holy cow!
This is going to be really fancy pants. We're about to go into the players' lounge, and they kind of are living the life.
Check it out. I'm inside of Coach John Calipari's office.
And personally, between you and me, I can only be so excited about UK basketball. I went to UCLA. But anyways, they bleed blue here, and it doesn't matter what kind of sportsman you are. This is just a cool experience.
And now,
wow,
inside the UK men's basketball team's locker room.
All right, so I don't know why the footage was so grainy. I might have just had kind of my GoPro with me at the time. That's what it felt like. Or maybe I was using just my cell phone video. 2015 cell phone video, that tracks. There is a Calipari update I'm going to give you a little bit later when we do the still open part. But the Rupp Arena and the tour of the locker room, that was so nostalgic for me. It felt a little bit like my sports days. By the way, the person that was with me was one of my friends who I invited to join me on the panel at the conference, and he works at ESPN. So this is recalling the memory of one of the themes of the conference that we did speak of, included a bit of a sports talk. Now, friends, we're on to the final episode of the Lexington series.
Welcome to the Lexington Distillery District, one of the newest, hippest hotspots in Lexington, Kentucky.
There's a lot of history here in the Lexington Distillery District. Here on the Pepper campus, which has been around since pre-Prohibition, is kind of abandoned right now.
But that's because I'm here too early. The distillery was founded in 1790. And when it was in operation, it was the largest distillery in the country.
This was a very, very active campus prior to Prohibition.
Okay.
Prohibition came about and it just kind of wiped this off the map.
It's basically been dormant ever since.
That's actually one of the old warehouses. We've had storage in that warehouse for the last 20 years.
Just before the grand opening, I got a sneak peek inside one of the first places opened, Ethereal Brewing. First thing I noticed was how young the owners were. The place was started by a few friends who simply love beer.
We have two different beers. We have an Imperial Stout. We have a Old Ale.
Ethereal keeps it simple in that it's all about the beer. but they're pretty creative in their handcrafted microbrews.
So they're all going to be some funky beers. They're going to be really neat. It just takes some time. So we're letting them grow.
So that one was a short and sweet one. I already guys told you I'm not really a big drinker, so I tried my best to film all the things around it, tell the story of the place and the property, and there's big updates to this location as well. Actually, let's just talk about it now. Let's do what is still open. So First Vineyard in Nicholasville, it's still open. They are still noted as the first commercial vineyard winery in the U.S., established in 1799, and they now also have a B&B on the property. Of course, if you go to Lexington, you must take a horse farm tour. That is still very much a thing. Lexington very much promotes horse farm tours, and you can actually find them on their tourism board's website. Many farms offer public tours. And if you're there for a UK game, football or basketball at Rupp Arena, still active, still hosting games. My episode, a bit of a time capsule because John Calipari left UK in 2024 for Arkansas. And the Pepper Campus Distillery District, not only still open, but it's massively expanded. So when I showed you, it was very much still looked abandoned. It has become one of Lexington's most exciting hotspots. There's brewery, cideries, ice cream store, restaurants, distilleries. One thing I do want to highlight is that I'm very proud of myself from this series in Lexington was the soundtracks were on point, from the sports vibes when we were in Rupp Arena to the bluesy stuff when we're talking about the bourbon district. So kudos to me for that. But next time I go back home to Southern California for one of the most memorable trips, even to this day. So join me for an emotional trip back home. I'll see you in the next video.